a lot of people charge you for the raid system. A lot of people are like, all right, so I'm gonna carry you through the raid system, but you're gonna have to pay me like a dough or something. Like, that's really where we're at with Awakenings now. Like, this should not be a system that people can like take advantage of and be like, oh, well, if you want me to help you, you're gonna have to fork over your dough. You're gonna have to fork over a mythical fruit and hope that I don't scam you or anything. Now I can do it on my own because I could just switch to perm Buddha and then just switch to whatever other perm I need to awaken. I have the luxury of that. There's players that do not have the luxury of being able to do this, especially with Phoenix. So I got a very good comment on my last video. This was actually a really, really good comment. It was actually really good. I think this is the best comment that I have in that video. It's very constructive, and I think it actually gives me something pretty good. So this person said, so they basically said if most base fruits were good, it would be boring. Now, what do they mean by boring? Now, I think what they're saying is that they like, I think what they're saying is that there's like a certain satisfaction that comes from awakening a fruit that was like previously not great. Well, to be honest, even I went ahead and awakened Quake because I did it before on my main account, but like I said, the raid system was boring. But then I would ask, like, what's the difference between that and the admin panel system? I think the admin panel system is even more rewarding because you're doing things that is actually like related to the fruit, because all the raids are about, you just pick a fruit, you grab the map, and then you go to a map that's themed around the fruit, and then they occasionally place some enemies that have the fruit you're trying to awaken, and then they have the boss that's using the V2 version. And it's like, that's not interesting at all. That's not interesting at all to me. The admin system is way cooler because with the admin system, you actually have to do things that are related to the fruit. This feels like real training. The admin panel feels like real training. Like awakening system, it doesn't feel like training to me. Like you just go through a group of enemies and you beat them up, and then you get to the big bad, and then you awaken your fruit. I don't see that as interesting. I would rather have awakening system that actually makes you do things that are related to your fruit. You know what is interesting? You guys remember when I made that pain video back then? Like how invested I sounded in actually trying to like awaken and like unlock the admin panel? I was actually super invested into like the pain admin panel and the lightning admin panel. I was super invested. I think it's more satisfying to actually like go do things that are related to the fruit that you're using. For the first upgrade in pain, you have to put yourself through actual like pain, which that makes a ton of sense. With pain, I had to do different stuff. Like I had to do things that were actually related to the fruit. I had to run across lava to get my first upgrade. I have to kill actual lightning creatures with lightning, you know, progress at my lightning research. That's what I like. I like how they turn the fruits into like a training and like a research like hybrid system. Like this isn't just about the V2 versions like being the default versions. This is about the fact that the admin panel system is much more well thought out. It's more immersive. It feels way cooler. And what I don't like is that the awakening system, this is the main problem with the awakening system. The awakening system exists at the expense of the fruits that can be awakened. What I mean by that is like the awakening system exists, but at what cost? At the cost of all of the V1 fruits being absolutely terrible. So if you want a V1 fruit to be good, you're basically forced into awakening it. If you want to use Spider for PvP, you have to awaken it. If you want to use Phoenix for PvP, you have to awaken it. If you want to use Sand for PvP, you have to awaken it. Dark, you have to. Flame, you have to. You have to. Lightning, right out of the box. So after the rework, after it got put into the admin panel, you don't have to upgrade it. You could use it like right now, no upgrades. You can actually fight good in PvP. The admin panel system exists, and it doesn't do it at the expense of the other fruits. They're already decent, but it exists there as an option if you want to go through and do that. I can take off all of these upgrades and I'll still have something that's good for PvP. One Piece. Yeah, the devs have been trying to go away from One Piece, but we know what it's inspired by. And obviously Awakening is a really good boost. It is a very good boost. But should you have to go through that? You shouldn't have to go through that. I mean, this is right here, right under Portal. If Phoenix V2 didn't exist, and we only had Phoenix V1, like what would that mean? Like let's say that we didn't even have an awakening on Phoenix and we were stuck with V1. V1 Phoenix has absolutely no potential outside of the healing. Phoenix is an advanced raid, so it has, you know, extra requirements. So you have to get those extra requirements. You have to meet all of those while using Phoenix. You have to go through using Phoenix V1 and you have to somehow get people to help you. And it's like, you're supposed to find people. Like, people already don't care about Phoenix as it is, and a lot of people charge you for the raid system. A lot of people are like, all right, so I'm gonna carry you through the raid system, but you're gonna have to pay me like a dough or something. Like, that's really where we're at with awakenings now. Like, this should not be a system that people can like take advantage of and be like, oh well, if you want me to help you, you're gonna have to fork over your dough. You're gonna have to fork over a mythical fruit and hope that I don't scam you or anything. Now I can do it on my own because I could just switch to perm Buddha and then just switch to whatever other perm I need to awaken. I have the luxury of that. There's players that do not have the luxury of being able to do this, especially with Phoenix. That's why you never see Phoenix players, because it's like you have to get the requirements, you have to get the Phoenix fruit, you have to rock with V1 Phoenix for the entire time, which is already bad, and then you have to also gather people who, and you have to hope they don't have ulterior motives or want something out of you, which a lot of the time they do. And even then, if you do give it to them, you know, a lot of people payment first, they'll kind of just leave. And it's like, how can you have an awakening system that is used for grabbing like bad fruits and making them good, but it's so exploitable? Like, people can literally be out here charging you prices for it like it's some kind of like spot or business. That's not how an awakening system should be. There should not be some kind of monopoly on the awakening system. People shouldn't just be able to be like, okay, well, if you want my help, you're gonna have to fork over some bounty. Or no, actually no, a lot of the times I'll ask for like a mythical fruit, which is outrageous. Or you're gonna have to fork over like a dough or something. I don't want that when I'm trying to awaken a fruit. Like I said, I have the luxury of being able to do it. The people who do not have the luxury of just being able to switch to every single fruit in the game whenever they want, like, how are they supposed to awaken it? That's why people don't do it, right? So, you know, Phoenix, they have to go through this entire process. They have to get a certain amount of mastery, which with V1 Phoenix, that's already difficult. And then on top of that, they have to buy microchips for frags or spend fruits that are 1 million or more. So you have to put anything that, once you use your 1,000 fragments, which by the way, you have to spend 1,000 fragments to buy the chip, and then you have to spend fragments to actually awaken it. And then after that, you either wait 2 hours so you can use fragments again, or you put a fruit that's worth more than 1 million into the raid system to get a chip again. And like I said before, not everyone has the luxury of having fruit storage. Like, these people are not just gonna have like 7, 8 quakes on them. They're probably gonna have like, they're gonna have something like this. They're probably gonna have like a few mythicals, a few legendaries, some of them very good legendaries. And it's like, why would they want to throw that in there for an awakening? That's not worth it. Spend 1,000 frags and then spend more frags, and then on top of that, sacrifice a bunch of valuable fruits for this. And you guys wonder why people don't go for this, because I awakened this a long time ago. If I made a new account, I would never try to awaken Phoenix. I'm not putting down 5 legendary fruits and then also paying 1,000 frags. And also, you're sacrificing all these resources, and you don't know if the people in the raid that are with you are just gonna like change their mind and leave. Like, that is a serious issue. That is very exploitable. How you can't have a good awakening system that's also exploitable and is being used as some kind of market or for trading. Like, that's not what that's there for. That's there for the fruits to be good and for the fruits to get that boost. Like, how is that good at all? Like, it's not good. That's why you have the admin panel system. The admin panel system cannot be exploited by players. You don't need to rely on other people for it, and you don't need to give up crazy amount of resources. You just need to give up materials and just get frags. You don't have to give 5 legendary fruits or a mythical fruit if you're that desperate. Trust me, no one's desperate to awaken Phoenix. That's why we don't see Phoenix users. The requirements do not match the payoff. I agree that the fruit at base shouldn't be as bad, but taking away awakenings isn't going to fix it. It is going to fix it. In fact, it has already fixed it, because if we look at lightning, Lightning has been reworked and it has been removed from the awakening system, and it's perfectly fine. It is going to fix it. It is going to fix it. The admin panel, actually, no, I think I confused his point here. I think he's saying that, like, if the awakening system like gets removed, the V2 versions will get removed. I'm saying is to rework the fruits, take them out of the awakening system, and then put them in the admin panel. So therefore, they won't have any issues. Because look at Lightning right now. Lightning is really, really good. It's a really, really good fruit. It's amazing. It has benefited massively from being taken out from the awakening system. Taking away awakenings is going to fix it if they introduce the admin panel. And we've already seen that they will do it. So the issue will be fixed. They're going to do the same thing for every fruit, and it's basically going to eventually come to a point to where there's no more fruits in the awakening system. The awakening system's going to be gone, and everything is basically just going to have its own admin panel. That's what they're planning. They're going to slowly remove everything. They're not going to take it all at once. If they take it all at once, every fruit is going to suffer. So it is going to fix it because of the way they went about it. Just because the fruit is legendary doesn't mean it has to be viable for combat over something else. Problem is, we have a rarity system for a reason. A rarity system is supposed to show that a fruit is better in way more ways than a fruit of lower rarity can be. So yes, and I agree with this, because smoke is a common fruit and it's able to do really, really good. Like, smoke is actually goated for PvP. It's a common fruit, and it's able to punch way above its weight class. It's able to absolutely go ham. So I agree at that point, but I also have to disagree here. If it's ranked higher, there needs to be a reason that it's ranked higher. If you look at V1 Phoenix, that's not a legendary fruit. It fights like an uncommon. It feels like an uncommon, like straight up. So yes, lower rarity shouldn't dictate power, but a higher rarity should dictate advantages. The higher a rarity of fruit is, the more advantages it has. It's viable for everything. If smoke is viable for, which I've used smoke before, it's a Logia. It's actually very good for grinding NPCs, and it's actually great for PvP. I've used it before in PvP. It's actually awesome. So this gets to be all super crazy, but this can't. By the way, that's how powerful smoke is without an awakening. Without an awakening, smoke shreds everything, but it doesn't deserve to have some level of power. It deserves it. It's literally right under Portal. Portal is like one of the top fruits in the game, and I think, I'm not saying that Phoenix should be a top fruit in the game. I'm just saying that you shouldn't have to go through a really painful process to get a fruit that's decent. Portal does not have to go through any sort of process to be good, and it's already by default one of the most OP fruits. Phoenix is literally just getting like terrible treatment. It doesn't help the fact that they nerfed this to like absolute heck. Not every fruit has to fit the same meta for combos or grinding. That is true, but this is kind of one of my problems though. I don't want Kitsune to be like the dominant fruit. I want to see variety. I want to see Kitsune users. I want to see Dragon users. I want to see Yeti. I want to see Spirit. I want to see Tiger. I want to see Gas. I want to see Venom, Shadow, Doe. I want to see all of these when I PvP, not just two of them. So I would like fruits that add new things to the meta. Just like Lightning. Lightning, you know, threw something in there. Pain threw something in there. Portal does something. There's a lot of fruits that are meta now, and we have a higher meta variety. I don't want the meta to just be two fruits. You know, there needs to be an incentive for people to use this stuff. If you took Phoenix out from the game right now, the only people that will be affected by this are the small amount of people that main Phoenix. That's literally all the people that would be affected by this. If you take Kitsune out from the game, you know how many people are going to be affected by this? A huge number of people. There's going to be so many people that will be affected if they remove Kitsune from the game. If you remove Yeti, there's going to be so many people who use Yeti that are affected. Tiger, you remove from the game, there's going to be a bunch of people that are affected by this. Even Spirit, you remove Spirit from the game, there's going to be a lot of people that are affected by this. If you remove Phoenix from the game, there's not really going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a handful of people that use this, and that's the problem. How I judge it is, if this fruit gets removed from the game, how much impact is it gonna have? If it doesn't have a lot of impact, if it leaves the game, that's an issue. If you feel a certain way and you disagree with me, bro, stand on business. Like, disagree with me, dude. That keeps the discussion interesting, and it just makes it a lot more fun. Like, it makes it fun for both sides when we disagree with each other. If you feel like a really specific certain way about it, That's probably you disagreeing. And if you disagree, like go full forward and say, yeah, I disagree. Like I disagree with this. I think this is wrong. This is why I think it's wrong. Like bring out like constructive stuff. So the people who disagree with me, keep disagreeing. I will read the comments. I will take it into consideration and I will reevaluate it. If it's a really, really good discussion.